Okay, as always, seeing if this thing's actually working. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Okay, let's see. As I click some things, as I look at some things, let's take a look. Do. Spellcrafter Stories, hello, Spellcrafter Stories. How's it hanging? I always am incredibly terrible at streaming. Message retracted. What? I saw it. I saw that message. As always, I am trying to figure out if I have this thing all set up nice and neat. I believe the sound is coming in. Looking at all the stuff here. Okay. OBS is working. Great stuff. Looking at a bunch of other things. For those of you that don't know, I'm working off of one monitor, and thus I've got to pile things on top of things. It's super annoying to to organize my stuff. Anthony, you carried me in helping prep my Tomb of Annihilation campaign. It is a great time so far. That's awesome to hear. TOA is my most favorite campaign, and I'm glad to hear that people are enjoying it, and I'm glad to hear that I got to help. That's awesome. Spellcrafter Stories, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I've got eyes on you. How's it going? Peter, it's great to have you back. Your Curse of Strahd videos were monumental in my success DMing it. Much appreciated. It's Peter, thank you so very much. But two, it is very funny. I made that series and I got a air bubble, so now I'm putting on a voice. I sound like me one. So I put out that series and it got minimal views as soon as it came out. But over the course of time, the Curse of Strahd series as a whole has gotten a tremendous amount of views, which is incredibly. Good evening, Upper Plus. How's it going? Checking a whole bunch of stuff, talking to people, and in a moment here I will be talking about my West Marches campaign. Just gotta set some stuff up real good likes. Still streaming at 11 p.m. I see. Hey, no, Upper, I actually streamed an hour earlier. Normally I would have streamed an hour after this, in 1 hour, but in fact I streamed an hour earlier today. So this week I was pretty preoccupied, very preoccupied throughout this whole week. But next week and from then on, my schedule is going to be opening up, and I will be able to potentially do more things, potentially more streams. I want to do some prep streams, and I also want to talk about this West Marches. So in fact, let me figure that out. West Marches public game. How does that come out if I... Boom! That came out ugly as sin. Let's... Should I change... I think I should change the color. Let's change the color. Color... Does that work? It's kind of that's kind of yellow. Let's go a bit. I want like a gold. There's no like preset gold on this. It's not bright enough. Gosh darn it. A little bit brighter. A little bit brighter. Alrighty, that's, you know, we work with what we got. We work with what we got. So how's it hanging, every one of y'all? What are y'all up to? I want to know because I'm going to be getting up to some public games, and I want you all to join me in the foreseeable future because I'm going to be running a West Marches game where everyone who's playing that game is going to contribute to that world, and it's going to be a great time. I have a specific question. I've got a specific answer. I play TOA and my party is in Omu, currently occupied with finding the last 4 puzzle cubes. Okay. Alrighty, while that is getting also typed out, let me grab some more stuff. Let me move myself here, and then let me pull out a... There we go. Boom. Oh my god, that came out ugly. Let me squeeze this thing up some. That helped a bit? Yeah, that helped out a bit. Oh, and it's behind me. Okay. Alrighty. How would you join that West Marches game? I am going to be, so I got like a solid like 60% of the prep done for it. And when I am live to go, it'll be through my Discord. I'm going to be making videos about it. So just join my Discord. You'll be privy to all information. And once again, I'm going to be making videos about it. So stay tuned for that. My question is, I won't be able to continue the campaign after August because I won't have any time after that. Any recommendation on how to close out the campaign, the short of time from there? What I'd strongly recommend is to really like streamline the process here. Don't have your players grab all the MacGuffins. Instead, have one of the other factions in play, whichever factions you have in that environment. Have the other faction show up with the other pieces and say, hey, you and me, let's work together. And that faction shows up to the place with the grand finale, all the keys in tow, and instead of having to spend a couple of sessions trying to acquire these keys, the keys just land in their lap, but it gets them to the finale, and you're good to go from there. So that could be if it's a good faction, then they can join hands, sing Kumbaya. But if it's an evil faction, then you could say, like, oh, hey, we'll give you these pieces, but you're going in first. You're going to be setting up all the traps and stuff like that. Like, you could have a fun Indiana Jones type vibe with that. That's what I would strongly recommend. Alrighty. Let me see here. Give me a few more minutes, and then I will start talking about the West Marches. I'm actually curious. On OBS, is there a timer? I've seen people just randomly pop a timer on OBS. Is there natively a timer? Let's take a look. Application, browser, display, game, image, media, scene. I have to figure that out. I've been running Shadow of the Dragon Queen after 9 months. My players wonder why this setting is called Dragonlance when they haven't seen a single dragon yet. You know, That's just the nature of it in regards of, there's dragons and then there's lances. Is what it is, right? When you look to all the, setting, Forgotten Realms, it's not really a Forgotten Realm. You're in the realm and no one's forgotten it, right? You're in Blackmoor, and yeah, there's a place called Blackmoor, but how many people actually show up to the one Blackmoor castle, et cetera, et cetera. Good advice, but knowing my players, they will take ages to go through the Tomb of the Nine Gods. You have a floor that could be cut the most. Off the top of my head, I'd probably say three. I'd have to double check, but I'd probably say four. Floor 4 and then floor 3. $5, my goodness, from Mr. Quantum. Dude, thanks for your Curse of Strahd videos. Unreal to catch you today after I just watched your prep videos for 20 hours. Thanks, dude. Mr. Quantum, thank you so much. You are keeping me off the streets for even a single day with that $5. Thank you so very much. That's incredible to hear. I hope your Curse of Strahd campaign goes well. I just got talking about that, Quantum. My Curse of Strahd guide series, I started off and it got incredibly minimal views. And then all of a sudden, over the course of time, I blinked. And then that series has so many views all over the place. It's incredible. And mind you, I've had many people like you tell me, oh yeah, I just binge watched, your whole series on this. I watched 20 episodes of that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because Curse of Strahd, my goodness, that required so much. It was a 51 episode series. It was tremendous. Thank you very much. I'll look at what I can do to give the campaign a worthy ending. With that, I wish you good night. No problem, Upper, no problem. Hope all goes well in the Tomb of Doom. But yeah, when you compare all my other video guide series, on average I got 15 to 20 videos on each of the modules. But then Curse of Strahd, I had 51 because the module is just so freaking big. Alrighty, so with that going on, with me being, staved from death, having to live off the streets with that $5, because mind you, $5 does go a long way for me. Let's talk about my West Marches game. So I'm going to be running a West Marches game through my Discord and through the YouTube, and my plan is that everyone shows up and everyone is contributing in some fashion, some way, some form, somehow. And how is that going on? Well, let me tell you a bit of a synopsis of the adventure at play here. I don't have it written down right here, which is totally a misplay on my part. I will correct that as I go through the spiel here. But here's the setup for this campaign. Everyone is teleported to the bottom of a dungeon. You are at the bottom of this large ruin, and of course, being teleported to the bottom of it, you've got one major overarching quest, which is to escape the dungeon. And that's the name of the game. Everyone that shows up is part of this conglomerate of people that have all been teleported to the bottom of this dungeon, and your job as a collective, as a group, as a whole, is to find your way out of the dungeon, which is presumably to climb up. You're at the bottom of the dungeon, you need to shoot up. And how is the group going to come together? Well, for starters, when your characters show up to this bottom of this dungeon, there's already a town established. It turns out there's been a bunch of people that have been teleported to the bottom of this dungeon, and life sucks. Everyone wants to get out, but obviously it takes the brave, the bold, and the few who are willing to adventure out from this small eke of civilization to go out and adventure. So with that, the West Marches game is everyone that's showing up to the table is saying, hey, we're gonna try and escape this dungeon. And to further emphasize the player input in all this, everyone's showing up, and the maps will be made by the players because you guys are going to be exploring the unknown here, and everyone's going to be posting up I mapped out this area. Oh, hey, we went out to this area and we found these things. And it'll be truly a group effort in exploring and conquering this dungeon. So that's my spiel. It is the current working title is Long Way Down in Little Hope, because the little town or city that you guys are based out of is called Little Hope. Very on the nose, as it were. But that's the name of the game. So with that, as you guys are, trying to claw your way out of here, let's take a look at some of the things I've got written up here. So character creation, classes available, weapon proficiencies, etc., etc. So character creation, pretty simple. You just roll up your stats, you buy your equipment, and the most important factor of one of these things is not only choosing your class, of course, because your class is one of the biggest things, but joining a guild. So one of the major aspects of this campaign, which is also dubbed Guilds and Gargoyles, like it's Guilds and Gargoyles like sub-header, out long way down a Little Hope. So one of the major ideas of this campaign is that you join a guild upon character creation. And depending on the guild that you join, you get several bonuses, and you will be given certain guild quests along the way. These guilds offer immediate bonuses for you. So you roll up your character and you think to yourself, oh, my character could, really wants to join that guild. You join that guild, you get bonuses, and as you adventure, you eventually get more guild bonuses. You try and do more things for your quest, for your guild. You try and do more things for yourself. So it's a very, very big group initiative, and like that's what I'm really looking forward to, is the group initiative there. Some players are going to be joining the same guilds, and sometimes you'll join another guild. The guilds don't have any rivalries. Overall, the guilds are working together to, escape this dungeon. But at the same time, like, the guilds want separate things. Maybe throughout the course of adventuring, one guild wants you to explore to the west, and then one guild wants you to explore to the east. When you come together, how do you work that out? I want to see that social aspect from the game. Alrighty, classes available. I've got 20 classes available right from the get-go, but over the course of the game, maybe more classes will be unlocked, entirely up to players' initiative there. Weapon proficiencies to make weapons more, have more oomph. When you make your character, you can select several weapons that you specialize in. The martial classes immediately get talents, and over the course of their leveling, they will also get more talents, which will make them more versatile. I've got a whole bunch of character important rules here in regards of, oh, hey, these have certain benefits, these do that, etc., etc. The session structure. So one of the big things about this campaign is that when I'm hoping to get a lot of people for this campaign, because I've had a lot of people for my other West Marches games. So what I'm really hoping for is I post up a time saying, hey, I'm going to run a game this time, this date, who's ready to play? And if I get like 4 or 5 people to show up, it's, they're going to have different goals. Maybe they have personal goals, maybe they have guild goals, whatever the case may be. So those people, I want them to get together and say, hey, we want to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to go here. We're going to go X, Y, Z. We're going to accomplish this and that. So the first part of the session is, fleshing that out, saying, hey, gang, what are we doing today? Part 2 is playing the session. The players explore the dungeon. They fight the monsters. They beat the bad guys. They get the loot, etc., etc. And then part 3 of the session is returning home. You get the gold, you get the loot, hopefully no one's dead, you tally up the XP, you rack up the guild points, etc., etc. One of the expectations of this game is that you individually are not a hero, you are an adventurer, you're working together as a team, no one is better than the others, everyone needs to come together, because if you don't work together, then it's not going to work out. So, with that, You have the option upon character creation of joining one of 10 guilds. And it's funny now that I'm saying it. I'm probably gonna force you to join a guild, even though there's literally no reason you wouldn't join a guild, because joining a guild is so lucrative because you get certain bonuses from joining these guilds. But I'm just gonna say natively like, oh, you have to join a guild, because that'd be weird if you didn't join a guild and you just be like ragtagged along, not doing any of the social mechanics. I think that'd just be weird. So you join one of these 10 guilds, and when you join that guild, you get certain bonuses. So first off, let's check out the Princess's Guard. When you join, you immediately get stat bonuses, and then over the course of you getting ranked up throughout the guild, you eventually get more and more bonuses and things of that nature. And also very importantly is, one, you're joining this guild, and presumably other people are joining this guild, so you've got that social dynamic of working together with other guild members. And in addition, there will also be guild quests. However, I don't have the guild quest listed here because they'll be a little bit spoiler. So each of these guilds offers something important of value. Some of them are more martially inclined. Some of them are more magically inclined. Some of them are more, I guess, worldly inclined. Like, for example, here I've got a Merchant's Guild, an Alchemist, an Explorers, etc., etc. Yo, excited to try out my half dragon, half celestial Palalock. That's where you're wrong, kiddo. How's it going, Prof. Pone? Prof. Pone, what's up with those? What's up with those Total War, Warhammer, tourneys? You're not getting the dubs here. What's going on? I popped in for one of those Warhammer ones. I popped in a little bit for that Company of Heroes one. What's going on? Where are the W's at? So going back, in addition to the guild, you're leveling up on your own, but there's also the guild advancement system in regards of you do various things. I bring cool units. That's your problem. You bring cool units. You gotta be a slave to the meta. So over the course of you adventuring through your guild, you're going to be earning points through your guild, and that's how you advance up through the tier system and eventually get those sweet bonuses, as well as look really cool to everyone else. We got lots of W's in Company of Heroes. There you go. I saw you doing like 4v4s, I think. I think I tuned in for a 4v4. It's very chaotic. Whew. So, in addition to, you've got a whole bunch of the fun guild stuff and all the guild quest, which I'm not going to reveal as of this current moment in time. But one of the major aspects of this campaign is exploration. You're going to be exploring around this environment, and you've got to figure out how best to explore it. Is this a 5e system? No. So natively, I'm going with old school essentials to keep it real simple, real smooth. Because if it was a 5e, if I was running this West Marches game in 5e, then I fear that a lot of the feature creep in regards of, one, natively there's a whole bunch of classes that are just completely imbalanced. Two, I want to give players features, and giving even more features on top of the 5e features that you already get would just be a little bit too much. So I'm keeping this real simple, real smooth as a base system, but then tacking on a whole bunch of the complexity using these guilds and all the magical items you acquire and things of that nature. The last one you ran in 5e was good. So, Pone, the last one I ran, a lot of people enjoyed it. But one of the major problems in regards of, the social aspect was also another issue with 5e in regards of there was by the end of the game, it was clearly evident that some classes would natively have more survivability than others. And what happened eventually would be that a playstyle meta showed up where all of the backliners would run away if a fight ever got dangerous, and then all of the frontliners would natively die. And it led to this terrible meta of the frontliners kept on dying. And there's like, to solve that issue in 5e, it'd just be really annoying, I think, to like curtail running away, like in a non-combative way, because like, fortunately, over the course of that entire game, I only ever got like 2 complaints about, being a combative DM. But, like, what do you do when the backliners consistently run away to save themselves? Just make it so there's no fleeing. GG easy. Like, and that's another problem right there, is I don't want to have to tell people how to play the game, right? Like, that's it's a weird social issue in regards of like I want people to play the game, and I want them to play it in a certain way. I prefer that they play in a certain way, but I can't tell them to do that. Like, I can't just say like, oh hey, you're things are looking a little iffy, and then like, some people run away. Like, that's kind of sucks, right? So another aspect of this being a social game is the party loot. Something I have dubbed is that there is going to be a GDKP after every session where you acquire items that are individual. Obviously, gold is evenly split amongst all characters, but when you find a magical item or a potion or like a whatever, like a one-off item that obviously cannot be split 5 ways, or however many people are alive by the end of the session, I want it to be a GDKP. Then in old school, I want to play a half-orc cavalier that either rides a griffin or a centaur. You gotta earn it. That's totally doable. In Shadow of the Dragon Queen, they literally put a frame in the map, and it's supposed to be the other people battling, and if you cross it, you receive 2d6 damage. Exactly, right? Like that, that's just so, like, it's so gamey. I don't really like that. So, for example, players, a 5-man group consisting of 2 fighters finds a +1 sword, and obviously they're like, oh hey, I want that. Oh hey, I want that. So by the end of the session, there's a GDKP held. And what happens is I say, hey, starting bid for this sword goes for 100 gold. And then anyone in that party can decide to try and buy the thing. And what's happening is the 2 fighters start tallying off, and then eventually one of the fighters says 500 gold, and then the other fighter doesn't have enough money. What happens is that fighter A buys it, 500 gold. I take that 500 gold, and then I evenly split that amongst all the other characters. So even though you like fighter A bought it, but then fighter B at least gets something out of it, which I guess in that case would be like 125 gold each. Somewhere around there. I find that if I was going to do I was looking like for the best like ways to do splitting up loot in regards of how to evenly distribute that amongst the party. One of the things I saw was just a simple need or greed system. And I don't like need or greed systems because you can just get unlucky. So you just said I could ride a centaur. It's on the internet forever showing you. Oh god, don't. What's your preference for how big your battle maps should be? So that entirely depends on the scenario at hand. Like sometimes I run mega dungeons where the battle map is, hundreds of feet wide because you're going from room to room. And sometimes you're in a, boring area and a 25 foot grid or 25 square grid does just fine. I have absolutely no preference for how big battle maps should be. It's purely contextual. Purely. So with that, you create your character, you join a guild, you're trying to get out of this dungeon, but along the way you're trying to get more powerful, you're trying to get more suited up, you're trying to climb up this dungeon, you're trying to get more powerful. You do these guild quests, and when you do these guild quests, you're getting more powerful. You're spending your gold. You're earning some gold. You're potentially shaping up how this dungeon looks like, how the town looks like. But ultimately, number one goal is escaping this dungeon. And for that, I really want that to be that group emphasis, right? Like, I want there to be maybe some fun rivalry is fine, but no, absolutely no PvP at all whatsoever. But I definitely want there to be like a camaraderie as well in regards of everyone is joining together and trying to escape this dungeon. So in regards to that, you're a guild operator, you're movers and shakers in this world. You are sharing the knowledge. I whatever knowledge the every player has, that's up to the players to share. If I run a group of 5 people and they go off on a quest and they find a dungeon and they say, "Hey gang, let's not tell anyone about this dungeon. It'll just be us." Then guess what? No one else will know about it, right? Like I'm not going to put out any sort of information that is air quote private. All information is going to be shared depending on the groups, and I think that'll add really fun storytelling in regards of how do the players perceive exploring this world. If one thing I think will be really interesting is when the players inevitably go to map the dungeon, like who are they going to share that with? Is the maps going to be accurate? Like what's going to be the going price for maybe divulging some information? Like that could be a ton of fun right there. But by and large, no matter what social aspects are going on in this dungeon, the ultimate thing is that the groups are working together and trying to come out ahead. So with that, that is my spiel on my West Marches game. The tagline is Guilds and Gargoyles, and the subheader is good old way, way down Little Hope. You're at the bottom of a mega dungeon, and you're trying to climb your way back out. Simple as that. So, in regards of all of the air quote rules of the game, I've got it like maybe like 80% done. There's only a few things I need to fix up. There's a couple of the guilds that I'm going to probably rebalance just a little bit. And I'm also going to probably touch upon the guild advancement system. I need to do the math on like how long it would take for someone to rank up through the guilds, but it might be a bit too quick or it might be a bit too long. I'll have to, crunch the numbers there. But other than that, the game ruling aspects are pretty much done. What I need to work on, your Pacific time, right? I am Benjamin. It is currently 2:33 in the PUM for me right now. But when I go to run these games, mind you, I'm going to be running them all over the place. So like, if I've got nothing going on that day, I could run it at an earlier time for all the Europeaners. I could run it, a couple hours beforehand, like beforehand now, I should say. And then, other days I'll be running them around this time, maybe even later. I'll be running a bunch of games at a bunch of different times, try to get a bunch of people into this game because I want this to be a social West Marches game, right? I want this to be like, a bunch of people showing up, a bunch of people working together, a bunch of people, doing a bunch of things, affecting this world, because I think it'll be interesting. So, like I said, like 80-95% done with the game aspect. Now I just need to work on the dungeon aspect. So the dungeon aspect, I have, let me take a look here as to not reveal any of my information. I've got a decent bit down. I've got the entire town, fleshed out in regards of like, what, where you can go, what you can do. You're not going to be spending too much time in town in fact, like during session, you're not going to be spending any time in town, really. because we're trying to go out there and explore. Any time in town will be like outside of a scheduled session, as it were. Uh, but I've got a bunch of things listed out here for the dungeon, and I'm working and plugging away at more of it. It's going to be a great time. And also very, very important too is, in regards to the dungeon, I fully suspect that the players are going to be like influencing this dungeon. For those of you that missed it, the spiel, everyone teleports to the bottom of this dungeon. You're at the bottom of this dungeon. You're trying to climb your way back up. You are in a massive, underground dungeon. You're trying to escape. There's a civilization here. There's a single town, and that's where all the people, all the commoners are residing. But you, being a plucky adventurer, are going to race out and enjoy adventuring. Can I play as a Harengon Knight in service to Prince Harengon, known as Agdon Longscarf? Absolutely not. You don't know who he is. You don't know nothing about that Agdon Longscarf. You don't know nothing. The light that is shining on me is incredibly hot. It makes me sweat. He's the rightful prince. Pone, which character has gotten more memeage? Is it Agdon Longscarf or is it the Lord of Lance Rock? Which character has gotten the most memeage for the mileage here? I'm genuinely curious. Whew. Yeah, so that's my West Marches pitch. I will be, I believe, in a month's time. Not even a month's time. Maybe if I really bang it out, I could start running sessions in 2 weeks. Honestly, I'll have to check my schedule, but I will be posting about that not only in the Discord but also on YouTube, because I want this to be, I want to get as many people interested in this as possible. And also, what the heck just happened? Did I? Agdon, since we memed it the whole campaign and like one session of Lord of Lance Rock. Fair. Agdon, it definitely got some meme mileage that whole damn time. That and Zarok. Zarok got a lot of memeage too. But definitely Agdon was the the go-to. Alrighty. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this West Marches game. I'm definitely a big proponent of West Marches games because that allows me as a DM to run games and not to deal with I'm busy that day. I've got work. Oh, I've got class. Oh, I've got this. Oh, I've got that. It can very, very fortunately, West Marches games, if I grab a big enough crowd, I should be able to grab a whole bunch of people. Okay. I'm looking, seeing, reading, watching. Okay. So, what was his title? I can't remember. The What Prince? The what prince? Oh my god. Hmm. What was his title? Um. The what prince? What was it? Oh, was it the Prince of Was it the Prince of Prismere? I think that might be it. Might have been the Prince of Prismere. I think that would be the title. Whew. No. Was it the prince? Was it like the Prince of Crime or the Prince of Pranks or the Lost Prince or Rifle Prince or something? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pull out the book and look it up. Agdon Longscarf, the Rightful Prince. You know, that actually sounds about right though. Like the Rightful Prince, Agdon Longscarf. That sounds that sounds like something one of my characters would say. Alrighty. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it was the Rightful Prince of. I think the Toad Plan and in the Chris Stroud Hammer Throw favorite D&D moments of all time. So oh my god, the best part is Pone is I'm very proud to say that both of those are my own invention. Both of those are absolutely like the Toad Plan is like semi like partially like written, but like that whole like comedy bit was just totally me, and of course the Hammer Throw like that was just that was just beautiful. That was just fantastic. I'm trying to think of like, man, I've had a lot of, I've fortunately had a lot of great moments in D&D. It turns out when you run 1,000 games of D&D, you get one or two good moments. Alrighty, so with that, I have done my little spiel on the guilds and gargoyles, my West Marches campaign that I shall be running in the not so distant future, because I've got most of it written down. Now let me see here. But now I've got another adventure to write for because... Huh? Huh? Did I die? Stream dropped? Alrighty, it's alive. Alrighty, so with that... I've got another adventure to write for because I'm not going to write my my actual adventure that I'm using for the West Marches on this because I don't want any spoilers at all whatsoever. So this is my other one, another big adventure I'm working on, Slay the Beast, which is a good old-fashioned riff on Beauty and the Beast, I've already got a bunch of things written down for it, but I need to write down the people of the town. But am I going to do that now, or am I going to do that later? Because there's a bunch of other things I want to write. A bunch of other things. My problem is I've got 20 things I want to write, but I've only got, one set of hands. No troops still there. Good, good, good. Good. Oh yeah, Pone. If they make a Star Wars Total War, then you can finally be Palpatine and say, "Good, unlimited power." Although now I'm thinking about it, if they did a Star Wars Total War, I'm probably willing to bet that they wouldn't do any of the movie material. I'm willing to bet that they would do the Old Republic, if I had to guess. Like, I think that would just make more sense. So sadly, it wouldn't be stormtroopers and Darth Vader. It would be instead like various different factions, and I could totally see that too in regards of like I think the Old Republic would just make a lot more sense as well, because then you could have a lot more Sith and Jedi floating around instead of it just being the same few named characters. Like, I'm already envisioning in my head, like instead of having Chaos champions or aspirants, like a 16-man squad, you would instead have good old fashioned like 12 Sith aspirants or whatever. Well, he has the best quotes. I would be General Grievous, but I pray they would do Old Republic. So much more content. Yeah, I think it's natively just makes a lot more sense to be Old Republic. You can have a lot more Sith. You can have a lot more Jedi. Like I just said, like I think it'd make a lot more sense if you had like small squads of like Sith and Jedi, in versus unfortunately if it was set in the movies, then you'd only have like one or two floating around. But I think the question there would be like, would they actually go like classic Total War route where you have a 160-man unit on average? Or 120-man unit on average? Or would they go Company of Heroes style and shrink every unit down some? That's kind of what I'm worried about, because I see Star Wars not as a line battling RTS, and unfortunately Total War really only does line battling RTSs. So I am genuinely curious how they would go about it. Hmm. Hoo. Alrighty. So what the frick do I want to work on right this millisecond? I've got 100 quirks for this. And what are your thoughts on equipment that takes up the same slot despite that not being in 5e? Like, do you let your players wear two hat-like items? Absolutely not, ADHD&D. Absolutely not. If it's a thing of like boots of, whatever, boots of speed, boots of Elvenkind, You can't wear like one booty on each and then get the benefits of both. No, you get one set of boots. That's the end of the story. If it's a gauntlet, you can't have mix and match. You can't wear two hats. You can't wear two necklaces. I would say. In regards of rings, I have never had an issue with people having multiple rings, like as many rings as possible, so long as one in 5e the attunement slots. And two, also in 5e, you can't have double of the same item. Like, you can't have two rings of protection. Like, they don't stack. So I've never had an issue with multiple rings, but absolutely refuse. You can't have two cloaks. You can't have two suits of armor. You can't have two hats. Screw that. You get the one. You got to make the tough decisions. You got to lay down the law. That's what I think, anyway. I'm sure some would disagree with me, I'm sure. But that's the way I sees it, and that's the way I stays it. Damage die goes up. Alrighty, so one of the things I'm going to be doing for this Slay the Beast adventure is every time you show up to the castle, it is a random season. Because this castle's locked away in a strange, alternate little worldy thing. And one of the things is I want each of the 4 seasons to be impactful. So, for example, you show up in spring, then there is rain. You show up in summer, it is sweltering heat. You show up in fall, it is blustering wind. You show up in winter, it is nasty blizzards. So I need to figure out what exactly I can do in regards of anything special here. One of the major special things that I've got going on with the temperature as well is throughout the course of the adventure, you can anger the beast. And if you anger the beast, then the castle turns on upon you even more. So for example, in spring, during a torrential rain, visibility is reduced to 100 feet. If the beast is angered, then it pours even worse, and thus visibility is reduced to 50 feet. Things like that. So I'm seeing if I have anything else I need to exemplify here, finish it up. Summer is hot, blinded by the sun. It gets even hotter. Fall, it's super windy. Movement is reduced. Winter, just as sucks all around. No flight is possible. I think it's already, I think the climate conditions already looking good. One of the major things I'm going to have to figure out here. Advantage on lightning attack rolls, but disadvantage on fire attack rolls. It's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. Well, Yeah, I'm gonna put that as a note because depending on the system, because I'm writing this for both old school and 5e, so I'm gonna save like the hardcore mechanics, like of things like that for a later time. But Hexflower, finagle with elemental types, either advantage or disadvantage. It's not bad at all. One of the system neutral rules I'm going to say is I've got this beast anger chart, And the idea is you show up to the castle, you're on neutral, setting with the beast, but the beast will get angry if you do the following. You kill the named staff, which, there's a whole bunch of, like, named NPCs floating around here. You destroy the property, so basically you just run up and ransack the joint for no reason. When you steal X amount of gold or heirloom, so, I'm going to figure out, what's the appropriate amount. Staying in castle grounds longer than a day. So if you show up to the castle and you try and, like, stay there overnight, then beast is gonna get angrier, and the group wants to claim the castle. So if the group shows up to the castle and says, "We are going to stake our flag here," then of course the beast is gonna get hell angry. You subtract points from this beast anger condition when the party suffers large losses and retreats. When the party takes delicate care of the castle grounds, so if the party, waters the flowers, or if they, try and not damage any sort of the property, good on them. Also, party offers up a sacrifice of some repute. Figure that out on your own. What is it going to be? When the points worsen, things change. At 5 points, a random encounter occurs. At 10 points, the weather worsens. At 15 points, the castle harms them. And at 20 points, the beast attacks. Which, if the beast challenges a low-level party, the party will be dunked on. I think kind of the idea is you're skirting around this castle this whole time, ransacking the joint, getting stronger, getting more loot, all the meanwhile trying to avoid getting in a confrontation with the beast because the beast is so strong. So I've got a solid lead on the castle or the beast anger condition here. I'm just trying to think of, like, anything else I really need to consider before I start tackling actually writing up the individual rooms of the castle, because the castle is going to be hella big. I got a lot of rooms listed up here natively, and there's going to be a lot of normal rooms. There's going to be a bunch of bedrooms. There's going to be a bunch of whatever, but then there's also going to be, the one-off interesting rooms. There's going to be, the kennel. There's going to be, the small theater. There's going to be the library, There's going to be those incredibly unique things. Trying to think of anything else I really want to start tackling before I start drawing it down, because I've already got, like, the areas of the major town that you're going to. I've already got a lot of that written up. I just need to write down, like, the personalities of the place and give everyone just a little bit more RP flair to make the town an enjoyable place. Flesh that out a bit more. But other than that, I just need to get cracking on this. Alrighty. So and also part of fleshing out this castle too is I've also got to figure out how many of the named people are in this castle. That'll be very important. So I need to remember off the top of my head who would be the movers and shakers in a castle besides the beast. And the beast is, of course, a prince. We've got a major domo, a maitre d', head of kitchen, head of social events, master of clothing, head chef, head of cleaning staff, master of coin, captain of the castle ground or castle guard, master of gardens, head physician, master of the dungeon, a lady in waiting, a dog, and the dog is named Pity. I think that's pretty cute. A court jester, a master painter, head of church, master of music, librarian, architect, botanist, master of ceremonies. What am I missing here? I was thinking of something off the top of my head. There should be like an opera singer. Or is that already do I already have a music thing? Oh god, did I just ceremonies, church, waiting, coin. I do not have a singer. I want an opera singer or some sort of what? Let's look up some French. Let's look up some French. Parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous français? Where am I looking this up? Here we go. French singer names. Okay, I've got already a solid. Looking up names of another language can sometimes prove a little tough. Actually, I just found a perfect name. Rosent Laurent. Opera singer. Alrighty. How many named NPCs do I want in this castle? Big castle. I want these things to be mini bosses throughout your stay, throughout the dungeon here. Probably not going to do terribly much more than 24. Maybe I do. I can't really think of any more. Was there a master occultist? I don't think I have an occultist. Gardens, physician, painter, church. Yeah, I don't have an occultist. So let's go with an occultist. Let's go with all real. Unknown. Head occultist. I think 25 is a good number right there. I think having 25 named NPCs floating around the castle over the course of the campaign, you kill a bunch of them, things go bad, they guard treasures or they move around the castle. I think that's a good fair bit. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm liking where I'm heading with this adventure. I really am. I'm also liking where my West Marches campaign is going because I'll be trying. I'll be able to. I mean, I theoretically could be starting in like 2 weeks. Honestly, I just need to. I only need to write like a very limited amount, and I'm already good to go. So I'm really looking forward to the West Marches game that everyone can join in on the fun times. That'll be great stuff. 10 events. Oh, that's another thing I need to do. Alrighty. Yeah, I think I'm pretty. I think I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now in regards of what I need to work on. Bouncing between two projects here, this and the West Marches game. But the West Marches game, I imagine, is going to be very player driven, so it's going to be reactionary. So that'll be a good time. And that'll be dope. That'll be dope. Also, I should probably update. Let me show y'all something I've got here. I've got a handout of all of the adventures I plan on running. And oh my god, why is that boxed out? Why? How do I change the color? How do I do it? Where's normal tag, stereo, highlight none? No, why is this one box all jacked up? Text color, highlight color, white? No. How do I get rid of the gray box? Gosh darn it. How do I get... Now it looks ugly as sin. It stands like a sore thumb. Like, is this on... Gosh darn it. Okay, I'll figure that out later. But I've got a handout for all of the adventures I plan on running. Got a bunch. I also need to update this a little bit because I've got a bunch of adventures that I plan on running for different folks in the far future. And there's some good stuff on here. Curse of Margaritaville. I'm looking forward to running Curse of Margaritaville. That's for sure. What else? What else is... Spectres? I don't know. I'll have to look back, see which one's the right way to write that. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is the adventure that I plan on running. Way down a little hope. Really looking forward to this West Marches game. What's the idea for the shipwrecked and the pirate one? The shipwrecked one and the pirate one. Let me take a look back. Oh, the Wandering Isle. So the Wandering Isle, this one is all about you and all your crew are cursed, and you are going to die unless you find the Wandering Isle. There's an island somewhere on this archipelago, and you need to find it. The reason why it's called the Wandering Isle is because this, it's an island that moves around. You need to find this island in a certain amount of time, or you will die, and that's the adventure, right? It's a pretty like short, sweet, to the point, but like you need to find this island and undo the curse. The pirate one. Let me take a look here. So this one is more about, just a classic pirate romp. I would probably set this in sort of like a in sort of like a One Piece world, if you're familiar with One Piece. Just like, just large strings of islands, archipelago. Fun times to be had. Each island having its own biome, its own quest, its own colorful NPCs, and just a great way to find and seek out like the big treasure that everyone wants. Simple as that. Simple as that. Where was I? I was looking at the. Yes, I was looking at Way Down Little Hope. This is the one I'm running for as a West Marches game. I like all of these. I've like written as like for running it for a group, but obviously I can adjust it as need be. And I think Way Down Little Hope is a very easy one to adjust to a full blown West Marches game. What else? Land of Eve, Forbidden Caverns, High Fellow Drifting Dungeon, Mouse Ritter, Slay the Beast. This is the one I'm working on right now. And I need to write up some more. I've got more in store. But man, I am super irked that there is like this weird thing going on here. Editing, no. Why would this box be gray? Am I going to have to delete this whole row? Or there's got to be like some way to undo a colored row. And it's not even a full row. It's just this one cell. What is going on here? Normal. Is it in here? Border color? Nope, not border color. Border dash, border width, border background. Yes! Yes, I found it. Oh, thank God. What a weird thing. I wonder how that happened. What a strange thing that was. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm on a right track here in regards of what the heck I'm working on, and all that fun jazz. But as a reminder, Guilds and Gargoyles, stay tuned on a YouTube channel and Discord near you. I'll be running a public game. It'll be a fun time. It'll be a group effort. It'll be awesome. It'll be a great way to run games, and for me, it'll be a great way for people to play in games. It'll be a great way to socialize. It'll be a great way to do a bunch of things. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think I've pretty much said and set up all I want to say and set up. So I'm gonna hop off in 5 minutes. If anyone has any concerns, gripes, moans, complaints, general comments and observations, feel free to speak up. Tell me all about it. I would love to hear it. Also looking at some comments I got on my YouTube channel. It's funny. For the video I put out 2 weeks ago, or yeah, 2 weeks ago, I got people writing down comments that were essays. Like people were spending like tremendous amounts of time writing up comments for that. It was pretty astounding. Like typically I see people just write down a sentence or two, but I mean like I had people writing down essays. It was incredible. Okay. Hmm. I'm really looking forward to seeing which guilds are gonna get the most activity. Because I'm willing to bet that there's gonna be some guilds that get less like activity, but I'll try and and then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have to give more incentives to joining that guild. That'll be interesting. Oh man, this freaking the light hitting me is just so sweat inducing. All of my YouTube contemporaries actually have, you know, actual setups with actual lights. I just sit on the ground and I've got a incredibly bright bulb shining down from above me. Freaking sucks. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Alrighty, alrighty. do 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 do. I'm wondering if I'm wondering if yeah, I'm just like wondering what do players gravitate to in a West Marches game? Like, are they going to go for like a guild that gives you just straight up just more combat effectiveness, or are we going to see groups try and tackle on some money making expenditures and things like that? I would love to see it. I would love. I mean, I'm gonna see it firsthand. That's for sure. Alrighty. Well, I will be wrapping up this stream in 1 minute. If anyone's got any questions, gripes, moans, complaints, grudges, or any sort of anything of that nature, then speak now or hold thy peace until next time that I stream. Or comment on my YouTube channel. Do any of those. Just glad to have you back. And good to be back. It's good to be back. I Yeah, I had to step away for a hot minute, but I'm here now, pumping out some content. Gonna be running some games for everybody. It'll be a fun time. It'll be a fun time and no fun allowed. um, Alrighty, well, I think that is gonna do it for me. So with that, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to the generous donation. That goes a long way. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for lurking, for doing anything at all whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, interacting with me and my content. That goes an incredibly long way. Thank you so very much, and I cannot wait to see you all next time. See ya!